This call is being recorded.
Welcome to Ask Gwen, everyone. This afternoon I have Lee with me, and I'm going to let Miss Lee take it away and share her story with you guys. So, welcome, Lee.
Great. Thank you, Wen. Thank you. So my name is Lee Mariano, and first I am just so appreciative of being on Wen's show and having this interview. So thank you, Wen. I'm looking forward to our conversation. But I wanted to share a little bit about me and my story and how I got to this point. So currently in my career, I am a chief people officer at a private company that does cybersecurity, which is interesting depending on when you're listening to this interview. There's a lot of cyber um, uh, drama going on in the world in
Oh,
the
yes,
USA,
there
right?
is. Oh, yes, there is.
So I have been extremely busy with my day job and all of the things and phone calls and emails. It's been a crazy week, Win. So, but
Yeah. I mean, the 2020
right,
put us all on Zoom, and of course,
yes,
um, to those of you who use Zoom, Zoom had to step it up in cybersecurity, and Zoom did a great job, and
hmm
Uber Conference is doing a great job. We're all
hmm
doing a great job, but people officers and everyone else behind the scenes is scrambling like there's no tomorrow because back in March, we all went from
hmm
in-person school
hmm
to online school to every which way. Now it's starting to open back up again.
hmm
But as we record this, it's December 18th, 2020, and we're getting to the end of the world pandemic, but I don't think it will go away that quickly in 2021. Unfortunately, we're getting to the end of the world pandemic, which I'm happy about.
hmm
But speaking of security, geez, Lee, I I applaud you. I God bless you. Whoa, that wouldn't be my job. My job is to pull the kind of stories out of people. My cybersecurity is not my thing.
yeah. And I actually learned, when I got into that industry for my quote unquote day job, the things that you learn, like the dynamics and the things that people have to be aware of constantly. Their head is on a swivel basically when you think about cybersecurity. And it's just so that in and of itself is a very interesting job. Being a chief people officer at cybersecurity companies. But then I am also another hat that I wear is that I am a published romance author. And I actually have 38 books that I have now published on Amazon. And so they are romance books. So that I started that journey in 2009 with my very first book. And then in 2020, it's funny, I had already in 2019, I told my husband, I said, okay, 2020 is going to be my year. I'm going to launch my coaching business. I'm going to start working with women and, as my clients. And, I prepped everything and I was, ready to launch. And then boom, the pandemic happened. So the, you have to pivot, you have to change, you have to adjust, you have to adapt. But I did, right? And so I launched my coaching business in 2020. And so I wear all these different hats, right? And it's sometimes difficult to keep them siloed and separated. And so I've kind of given up on that. And I said, you know what? If you know me as Lee Mariano, the coach, then you're going to know me as Lee Mariano, the chief people officer, and you're going to know me as my under my author name, is what I do under Rihanna Mallory. So I have accepted that my worlds will intertwine, and I'm okay with that because I think it shows that, I am pursuing my passions, whether that's writing, whether that's coaching and helping other women. I made it to the C-suite. I pursued my passions and my dreams, and I'm proud of that. I want to share that with people, that you don't have to go just down one path. You can go down multiple, and you can be fulfilled. And those paths may seem like they have nothing to do with each other whatsoever, but they're your path, and it's what you want to do. And who are we to question, who are we to question that? So but I accomplished all that, and I didn't really start. I didn't know what I was going to be when I grew up. I think when I was a teenager, I actually said I was going to be an accountant. I was going to be an accountant,
Oh
and
boy.
I don't know why. Why?
Oh boy.
Right.
And I have an idea slash question for you. Um, have you ever written a romance book having to do with character who's in cybersecurity?
I have one book, just one, where he is actually in cybersecurity. That is his job. He's a CTO. He's a chief technology officer at a cybersecurity company. So yes, just one book, just one book.
Yes, maybe you should write another book on that, because I think that's a book that I would personally read. I think that would be fascinating. Now, um, for your for my listeners out there, this is a family friendly show.
Yes.
So, what are we talking about when we say romance? Are we talking about teen romance? What age level are we talking about romance? Because Christmas is next week, and it may be a good New Year's Eve present, or New Year's 2020 present, or maybe you can stick it in a storage unit until next Christmas, and maybe you guys can go support Lee that way. But I want to make sure that no birds and bees are told in Lee's books before you guys go buy Lee's books for your kids.
Oh, that is such a great question, and I'm glad you mentioned that. When my books are not for the kiddies, my books are for the adults in the room, and people should be mindful of that before they go and potentially look for one of my books. So they are romance for adults. they're on the
Okay.
they're
Oh,
so,
man.
but yeah, some may like that too.
Romance for adults. But
Mhm.
yeah, romance for adults. Let's just
Great.
leave it at that. I won't even ask my next question. My next question was going to be if your kid can handle romance for adults. But no, thank
No,
you.
ma'am.
No ma'am. No ma'am on that. Yeah. But what, now that we discussed that, what is your favorite book that you have written?
Oh, that is actually a very good question. So my favorite book that I have written, um, it's a book called Finding Faith, and it's a play on her name. The main character's name is Faith, but in that was, I had written it after years of writing other stories, but that was the first one that was, to me, a full length novel, because you have different lengths of novels. You have novellas, you have novelettes, which are even shorter, and then you have the full length meaty novel. And that was really the very first novel that I had written. And it still today holds a special place in my heart because that was a turning point in my author career. And from that book, I've continued to write the full length novels. And I really finally, I think at that point, understood who I was as an author and the type of stories and romance stories and the angst and pulling the reader into that world and with those characters. That's when I had my aha moment with my books. So I would say Finding Faith is my favorite book that I've written.
And what is your favorite book of all time? It could be a business book, it could be a book on writing, it could be anything.
So that is a great question. I would want to say that the book titled Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. And it is, if you've ever heard Malcolm Gladwell speak, right? I have both his books, and I have books in print, ebook, and then I also have the audio book. And he does his own audio recording for his audiobooks, which I absolutely love. But Blink, it was written some years ago, and the way he tells the stories within Blink, it just pulls you in, and it's basically the premise that each of us, all of us, everyone makes decisions in the blink of an eye. We don't even realize that our consciousness has made a decision about something until we see the outcome of that decision. And it's subconscious, it's inherent in who we are. And sometimes those decisions can either impact someone else's life just as much as they impact yours, based on some of the stories that he tells in the book. But and all of his books I absolutely love because of his perspective and how he um, tells the story, and makes you take a step back and think about what he's actually trying to convey. But Blink has actually been, over the years, I continue to go back and listen to that audiobook because it is so insightful, and it helps me, myself, as I'm making decisions, or when I'm at a decision point. Sometimes it's unconscious, but I do try and just take a moment and think about the decision I'm making. And part of that stems from listening to his book, listening to Blink by Malcolm Gladwell.
Well, you may have to go find Audible subscription, you guys, and you may have to go get Audible subscription and go find Blink, or go
Mm.
get your local library's copy of Blink, because it sounds like a great book. And if Lee's recommending it, you people go shoo and go find it after you finish listening to this.
That's right. It's an excellent book.
And so, Lee, I have a next question for you. What is your morning routine?
Well, before COVID, it was one way, but now, really, it's a little slower than it was. It's a little less hectic than it was before. But I lead a pretty, kind of standard life. I get up each morning, which I am thankful for, that I can get up each morning now and have a cup of coffee with my husband. I couldn't do that before because of our work schedules. So we are both now working from home every day. So we can actually get up and have a cup of coffee and talk and just prepare for the day. Unfortunately, I do then go directly to my email. I know you're not supposed to do that. And I know, but I do. I go directly to my email, and I just get caught up on anything that came through from the night before. I may go on social media and get caught up, maybe do, have a couple laughs, or, watch some cat videos and have a little have a little smile before I get my day going. But that's my morning, right? It's pretty low key. It's pretty relaxed because once I start working, whether it's talking with clients on the coaching business side or logging into meetings for the cybersecurity company, or even writing, that takes so much mental energy for all of those activities. So I do in the morning, I kind of just relax and let it go, let it flow for a few minutes before I get going.
Yeah. So nice, relaxing morning that
Mhm.
is part of your morning routine. Now, if your BFF had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
The title would probably be Dancing Queen. And it's definitely, the name of the song by ABBA, I think is who it is. But yes, I love to dance. I love to dance. Like everyone who knows me, my closest friends, they all know, put on some music and I am the first one out there dancing. I love the way you can just let go and you can just have fun, and whether you're a good dancer or a not so good dancer, it just, dancing feels good. So I love country dancing, country line dancing. I have my country boots and I go to I go out dancing. I love all just get music on, and that's me. And so I think if they had to write a book about me and who I was in my life, it would be Dancing
Dancing Queen. I love it.
Queen.
And so, as we wrap this interview up, one, where can people find you? Two, do you have any questions to me?
I do. So first, where can people find me? So I am on social media as Alexa Dom Coach for my life and success coaching. I work primarily with women who are frustrated with their current level of success, and I help them do more, achieve more, focus on what they are trying to accomplish, and I help coach them and work with them on that. So everyone can find me on social media under Alexa Dom Coach. Um, if anyone is, of course, interested in my books, of course, I am on Amazon as Rihanna Mallory. But of course, you can absolutely find me there, and you can reach out as well, and I could definitely talk with you about my books. But I am all over Facebook, and I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Alexa Dom Coach, and I do like to interact with people and give some good advice and guidance on my profiles, and people can of course join my circle and my community, and we can just be better together. So I'm all for that. So I welcome it. But when I do have two questions for you, so for me, when I want to relax, when I want to just let it all go. I read a book. So my question for you is, so what do you do when I know you live or I know you're based out of Colorado. So, but what do you do when you just want to relax and just let all the stress go?
Music, music,
Music. Okay.
music, 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 music. And I won't be based in Colorado for much longer. I'm actually moving to, hopefully as of May, to the East Coast and to the beach. So I will be walking the beach. And yes, I will be walking the beach to let things go if the beach allows me to do it. And so it's music. It's right now, it's music. It's music. Yesterday, as we record this, it's the 18th of December 2020. And I was such in a interesting mood yesterday because of my house, my house in Colorado sold yesterday. It sold December 17th,
Oh,
and it sold so quickly that I didn't even have time to blink. I turned around and my house is sold. We got a buyer and he said, I want it.
huh.
And so I didn't even have the time to blink. So by noon, by 12 p.m. my time, I got a call that my house had been sold, and I knew this was coming, but I wanted to block everyone out. So I stuck headphones in my ear and just let the world go around me. And it's always music or podcast, but 9 times out of 10, it's music that just I can just zone out, do whatever I need to do, whether it's just listening to music or whether it's um, working on something and I really need to zone out to do it. And I will stick music in my ears and not have the people bother me and just call it good.
That's so funny. For me as well, when I need to, just work, I need to focus. I need to work to music, all different kinds. And I'll put on the music and, the speaker in my office, and I'll just listen to music all day. I have playlists and I have all these great things. And depending on the mood that I'm in, I'll just put on some music and I'll just go. That's so we have that in common.
Yeah, we do. We do. And I need to get one of those portable speakers in my new office actually.
Mhm.
I had I had access to speakers, but they weren't portable. And so I think for as a housewoman, give to myself, I'm gonna get a portable speaker just because I have the smart speaker. Trust me, I have her, but hers is not good enough. Her is not good enough. There's no way a smart speaker can do what a portable speaker can,
Oh.
and some of these portable speakers are very, very good. And
Mhm,
so if I really want to do it, it's going to have to be music.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, music just gets you go. It does something to your soul, right? When you're listening to a great song and it brings back memories and it
Well,
brings
they have done they have done stories. They have done studies on cerebral palsy and music, on Parkinson's disease and music, on epilepsy and music, on every which way. And with cerebral palsy, it calms the muscle spasms enough
oh,
so that I can function, and at least for me. And so I, when I'm really, when I'm really trying to zone people out, and people were just coming at me yesterday, and I said, I mumbled too much. This is too much, gone
mhm.
overload, and I just zoned out and give me an hour of the music and just have me zone out, and then I come back to the planet Earth. But so music is one of those things that is and I don't mind if there's those people in the room.
Mhm,
I don't mind listening to their music as well. It's
mhm.
a common thread that I have a bunch of with a bunch of people, and people know it. People know it by now, and
That's
it's
great.
gonna be interesting when I get down to Florida, what I land up doing with as far as my music, because right now I'm playing off my phone. Portable speaker is needed, but I'm getting rid of gorgeous sound system
Mhm.
in my house, and I'm like, I really do I really get rid of that or lug that thing down to Florida? No, I'm not going to lug that thing down to Florida. I because this sound system was set up before. Let's just say before iPhones. Let's just say before the iPods, and let's
Oh.
just say, yeah, and it's of course broken now. So that's why we don't have good music in this house. But I grew up with it, and so I'm going to have to get a portable speaker for my office or
That's
something to that effect.
you need it because it really does. Like, this is my little sanctuary in my office, and I have all my happy, the things that make me happy in in here. And
Yeah.
I have my big, speaker behind me, and when I'm working, I turn it on and I shut the door, and it really does help me. And so my second question, and it actually works out really well because my second question to you is, do you have a theme song? So, as I said, my book would be called Dancing Queen. I think Dancing Queen, if I had a theme song, a song that played every time I walked into a room, what would that song be? It would be Dancing Queen for me. So, do you have a theme song that would play every time you walked into a
I
room?
actually do,
Yay!
and a lot of people don't know it. A lot of people don't know my theme song, and so for me, this is the first time that I'm missing. But very few people know my theme song, and it would be stand up for your rights by Ziggy Marley, or it would be Storybook Love by Mark Knopfler out of the movie The Princess Bride.
Oh, I
So
love the
those
Princess
are
Bride
my
movie.
two theme songs, and um, there's stories be well, there's stories behind why,
Mhm,
and yeah, and so I am a big music junkie. People know that, but
mhm.
they don't necessarily know my theme songs. And so it's really interesting to me that you asked that question, when what are your theme songs, because you love music. People know that by now. People know that by now. I am a huge audio
Yeah.
um consumer, and I am a huge um, audio consumer, whether it's podcasts, whether it's music, whether it's YouTube videos. I'm binging. I'm not a very big Netflix type of girl. I can't. Number one, I can't see a TV because of my eyesight. So I am 9 times out of 10 listening to music or
Mhm.
listening to podcasts or listening to audiobooks. And so I'm not so much a big TV person, but I am a big audio person.
God, okay. That's so interesting. Yeah, not many people. I like to ask the question of a person's theme song because it can tell you a little bit more about who they are as a person and what they feel most describes them most. So I do like to ask that question every once in a while. So I'm glad I asked you, Win, because you said no one
Yeah,
really asked you that. So
yeah, no. And so many people may now know my same know my same songs in life, and or it would be, or I have a third if we want that one. It would be Sweet Caroline, which I don't know if people know this, but I had the opportunity to meet the artist of Sweet Caroline. For those of you that are living under rock,
Uh-huh.
um, you know that Neil Diamond did Sweet Caroline, or and my dad worked. Speaking of music and speaking of sound, my dad was fortunate enough to work for Neil Diamond as a professional sound engineer.
Mhm. Mhm.
So those would be my three theme songs. Probably Get Up, Stand Up for Your Rights would and it just occurred to me the other day that Get Up, Stand Up for Your Rights is my theme song, and I completely spaced that one until someone mentioned it to me, and I'm like, yeah, that is my theme song.
Yeah.
And so we've got all ends of the spectrum, but that's because I've been exposed to it all.
Uh-huh.
Been exposed to um I've been exposed to it all. Let's just put it this way. What like you said, no ma'am on the books. I wasn't listening to kids' music
Oh,
at kids' ages. I was
right.
listening to Taj Mahal at kids' ages. I was listening to Warren Zevon at kids' ages. Now, if you think Warren Zevon is a little too risque, yeah, dad, thanks to dad for doing that. No, because he was he got me exposed to it all. So no ma'am, no kids music was when I was with dad, no kids music was allowed. Kids music was allowed with
Mhm.
mom,
Mhm.
but that was as soon as as soon as my dad walked in the room, he turned on the adult stuff. And Taj Mahal at the time actually did a kids CD, and so I was exposed to all these adult artists and their music, and I was exposed to Ziggy Marley through a kids show. Actually, I was exposed to Ziggy Marley through a PBS Kids show, also the audiobook. And so by the time I was 8 years old, I had the privilege of seeing um, of seeing Ziggy Marley, and I for a couple birthdays ago, I had the privilege of seeing one of my favorite artists on the planet, Chris
Oh.
Isaacs, who is my ultimate favorite artist, and he I begged, begged, and I normally don't beg for stuff. I begged my dad. I said, "Please, please, 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 I want to go to see Chris Isaac live. Please, 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 please." I put the bug in. I put the bug in his ear. So the year before my dad died,
Mhm.
actually in 2018, we my stepmom, myself, and my dad went to Denver, which is 4 hours away from me,
Mhm.
to see Chris Isaacs, and I was the happiest person on the planet. I give me a good live concert,
Yeah.
like, give me a good live concert, and that's what I most miss about this pandemic. That's
Yeah.
why I'm so excited to have music right outside my doorstep, not 4 hours away from me, thank you very much, and I'm so excited to be going to the beach of
Yeah.
Orlando. and all the surrounding beaches, and have music and the culture and every which way, because I, even though it may not seem like it, I can dance to any beat. You just need to help me up and give me a system
Right,
device
and
that
you're
I can
going, right?
dance away. So I I could dance away in every which way. So that's that.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, you mentioned, I know we're about to wrap it up, but you mentioned Sweet Caroline is one of your, kind of one of your
Yeah.
favorite songs. My husband is from Rhode Island, and of course we are diehard Red Sox fans here in our house. And so of course that's the song they play at the Red Sox stadium. And so that song comes on and we are, I mean, automatically, whether it's me, my husband, our two sons, it's immediate. So I definitely know, of course, that's so great that you met Neil Diamond, but yeah, that song, that's like our household theme song.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
the
wanted to share that.
whole sing song, and of course, my my stepmom is from Boston, and
Oh,
so she's a Boston Red Sox fan, and it's
yeah.
the household theme song in this house too. So it's like, okay, had to throw Neil Diamond in there, had
Right.
to throw Neil Diamond in there, and it's so funny because part of his team reached out to me on Facebook. I didn't tell you guys this, but part of his team reached out to me on Facebook when my dad died, and I'm like, okay, I think I can get Neil Diamond on this podcast in 2 seconds flat if I play my cards right. So so that is something I want to work on to get Neil Diamond on this podcast, and just not to ask him any music related questions, just to ask him about how he's dealing with his own disability. I don't know if you guys know this, but he has Parkinson's disease.
I did not realize that
No,
myself.
um,
Okay.
it's it's new knowledge. I believe that he was diagnosed last year, and he's starting to give up touring and give up his life of music because of his disease. So I want to interview him. I want to speak to him and talk to him about the music aspect and how he's dealing with his own disability.
Yeah. Oh, that would be, if you could get him, that would be amazing.
Yeah, well, we I'm going to try and pull some strings when we get to the East Coast, you guys. So watch it, watch
Yep.
it. I may be able to, I may be able to pull some strings, and so we'll see what Win can pull off here. But um, Lee, where can people find you, and where can people get a hold of you if they choose to do so? And you have a website. I know you mentioned your social media,
Mhm.
but do you have a website that everything is housed on, including the books?
Yes, absolutely. So my website for my coaching, my life and success coaching business you don't need the www. It's just alexadomcoach.com. And that's where you can find out all about my life coaching and career coaching services and how I can provide help. My website for my books, again, no www is needed, but it's rihannamallory.com. And all of my books are there. You can read up on them and decide which ones you'd like to check out a little bit further. And on Facebook, I'm under Alexadom Coaching. you can do that, at Alexa Dom Coaching, and you can get to my business page. I do have a private group that I welcome women to join, and it's really all about personal development and growth and increasing your self confidence and finding your voice. And so I would welcome any women who are listening to join my group, and let's help each other, let's lift each other up and help each other succeed. But if you go on either one of those platforms, either on Facebook, Alexa Dom Coaching, or Rihanna Mallory, author Rihanna Mallory, you can find me
Okay.
both ways and reach out and let me know. And I'm happy to talk.
And do not buy these books for your kids. Do
Right.
not, do not, do not, do not, do not, do not. They
No, no,
can
no, no, no.
no, 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 no. We're not doing that. So but the rest of it is family friendly. Just the
Yes,
book
yes,
are not
yes.
family friendly. And so, Lee, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you sharing your story, and I appreciate everyone's support and everyone's listening. And I hope to catch you guys next time. Bye, you guys.
Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.